What's going on, everybody? I didn't think I would make this video. Matter of fact, I was making a Zoro and Luffy related video, but then someone asked me in the comments, of course, this question related to the Warlords, so I figured I'd jump on it now since the Warlords recently disbanded. Now, I did remix the original video idea to make more sense. My first thought was hell no, but then I actually started to think about it, and maybe I'm downplaying the world's greatest swordsman known as Dracule Mihawk, as he deserves more respect if we're keeping it all the way real when it comes to seeing in the manga. Now, we can use Marineford as a reference given that's the only time we see them fight all together, even though they were split up on both sides when it comes to the battlefield of the Marines versus the Pirates. But the biggest takeaway is none actually were defeated in this war, as Moria, even Moria who got messed up, was after. And even though it was before the time skip, let's be honest here, Mihawk was the only warlord during of course the war arc to outright body Luffy. Like, it was shown how he overpowered him outright in that intense war. Luffy had to retract his arms because he saw he was about to get chopped, and I ain't talking about Buggy's Devil Fruit ability. Then we have to take a close look at Dracule Mihawk Hawkeye and who he's power scaled. During the Marineford arc, it was the world's strongest man, Whitebeard. He was comparing himself to Whitebeard in that first slash he did. And recently, when it comes to the Yonko Shanks, during his cross guild segment, when Brand New, the ultimate hype man for the One Piece story, was hyping up Mihawk, he said that Mihawk was the world's greatest swordsman above Shanks when it comes to the skill of a swordsman. So you gotta keep it 100 right now. Mihawk is doing his thing. Now, as you've seen, I just compared Mihawk to two Yonko, and when looking at the Yonko as a whole, they have insane durability. Look at Marineford. I know we can't only use this war arc, but it's definitely a really good showcase of some Yonko durability. When it comes to Whitebeard, he was still fighting with half a face, which is just, honestly, I couldn't even comprehend that. Then of course Blackbeard, who took a straight quake fruit to the face and pretty much was still fighting and laughing and even stealing devil fruits after that. And then of course there's Big Mom, who took a double awakening attack, like comboed multiple times, and even the last attack by Law and Kid was still talking shit. It didn't take until the explosion erupted and her falling down for her to actually be defeated. And Kaido fought 9 scabbards, 5 Worst Generation members, Yamato, a mythical zone with advanced Conqueror's Haki, Momonosuke, pretty much the same Devil Fruit as him when it comes to mythical Zoans, and of course an advanced Conqueror's Haki Luffy and a Joy Boy Luffy. So how difficult it is to take them out is definitely really overlooked. Even Luffy, who became a Yonko recently, it's hard to take out Luffy as a character. So durability is definitely a common theme when it comes to these top tiers in the One Piece story. Now, speaking about Kaido and his whole battle royale he had on the rooftop, he fought the Red Scabbards, who were all relatively strong characters at the same time. And let's be honest here, he was triumphant. Characters like Aoshiro-doji, Denjiro, Inuarashi, Nekomamushi, who are all scaled to Yonko Commander level, while Izu was an actual Whitebeard Yonko Commander, really shows you what a Yonko can do with multiple top Yonko Commander level characters at once. And if you guys want proof, because I know you guys love seeing proof, this was shown with the Jobber Jack, from his fight in Zou to his fight when it comes to Wano in the beginning of Wano with of course Aoshiro-doji, to of course the rooftop, and finally his final appearance when he went to his hybrid ancient zone form against Inuarashi. Like, these guys are scaled to top Yonko Commander level and it's plain sight. Then there's the 2-3 billion berry man, Eustace Kid, and Law, who personally I believe is stronger than every original warlord. Because this video I'm talking about only the original warlords versus Mihawk, so that's gonna be this is gonna be a 1v6 for you guys who did not know. And I believe they're stronger than every original warlord except Mihawk. And they teamed up to barely take out a Yonko Big Mom, just to put it all in perspective. Now, people are bound to mention Jozu and how he blocked his attack, like when he blocked Mihawk's slash with the diamond fruit. Like, a top tier would never allow that, right? No, well, I'll be honest with you, a top Yonko commander in Jinbe blocked Akaino's attack, blocked Big Mom's attacks before, And he's around Jojo's level. Let's be honest, he's worth over 1 billion berries. He's a top young commander when it comes to Luffy being a Yonko. So if we're all being honest here, don't look too deep into Jojo blocking that slash. It's not like Jojo stopped Mihawk from doing something. He was literally so far away from Jojo if you think about it. Then another thing people like to mention to make Mihawk look bad is of course Vista, who's shown to be pretty powerful swordsman, the 2-sword style user. And let's be honest here, he's one of the few characters pre-time skip to showcase Haki. We saw that moment with him and Marco teaming up against Akainu and then using Haki versus the Logia. And how he's able to fight Mihawk, and they believe he shouldn't be able to fight Mihawk. Mihawk should have destroyed him. But guys, pre-time skip, Mihawk still hasn't used a named attack. And still hasn't been damaged, not even one time. To put into context how powerful he is, Oda has been saving this guy for over 1,000 chapters, and the Marine, or should I say former Marine hunter, is now on the move. Just look at Marine 4 when he cut an iceberg so casually. It was gigantic and he wasn't even intentionally trying to cut it. Imagine if he went all out versus an opponent, putting all that power to one area. Now let's finally take a look at the other side, because this is what really matters in this versus battle. Of course, Moria is the first character I want to talk about, because I do believe of the original Warlords, he is the weakest Warlord. Moria was overpowered by Jinbe pretty easily during the Marineford War arc. He also got cut by Shiryu of the Rain, and yes, he was distracted, and Shiryu the Rain is an incredibly powerful character, because pre-time skip he was compared to Magellan, and he had no Delphoid ability. But I do want to say this, he is no Mihawk. Even with that invisible fruit and join the Blackbeard Pirates, he is not the same level of power as Mihawk. So if he could catch Moria with the slash, now Moria wasn't one shot by the slash, but imagine if Mihawk what he could be able to do to Moria. I think Moria would be one shot by Mihawk. In all honesty, I think, of course, there's still the element of surprise, especially in a battle royale where it's 1v6. He could definitely surprise Mihawk like he did in Thriller Bark with those zombies like Oz Jr. or Ryuma in Thriller Bark with the Black Blade. Or like, come on, Shisui. He would definitely need a very powerful shadow combined with a very powerful zombie. And that right now is looking very, very unlikely. But of all the Warlords, he's the easiest to one-shot. Now there's Kuma, and Kuma's a little more difficult, even though he was speedless and damaged by a tired pre-time skip Zoro post-Thriller Bark arc. Like, honestly, you have to, it was a named attack from Zoro. It was one of his more powerful attacks, like, I'll be honest with you. But still, Mihawk would severely damage Kuma with his strongest attack if Kuma was damaged by a pre-time skip tired Zoro. Now, I do want to say this, he does seem to be durable in other instances, given how we find him after the time skip protecting the Thousand Sunny, and how he was shown during the Reverie arc taking a lot of damage. Mind I say, he was abused, he was bruised up, shout out to Lil Durk, but his Pawpaw Fruit makes his speed plus his defense insanely good. His Delphoid is what really makes Kuma look good. Like, I'll be honest with you, I think Mihawk Haki, as shown when teaching Zoro, and the fact that he has a Black Blade is incredibly powerful. Just like Ryuma, to keep in context, how Ryuma had a Black Blade, and Zoro and Kozuki Owner never had a Black Blade. They never formed a Black Blade yet, of course, for Zoro, and they are below Mihawk's power because of that, in my personal opinion. Zoro is not going to surpass Mihawk unless he gets a Black Blade. But extremely powerful characters like that, I'm putting below Mihawk, and as seen in their fights, with Gold D. Roger, with Whitebeard, with Kaido, of course. We've seen Zoro and Odin fight Kaido. And of course, Zoro with the Lunarian King when Zoro was oozing Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Let's keep it real. If Mihawk's above these two characters, he's going to be a problem when it comes to, even if your Delphoid ability is overpowered, he's going to get you. And I don't think Kuma can handle that. So I think Moria, he's getting one shot, but Kuma, even in a team battle, he could definitely easily be taken out of the action if Mihawk goes all out. Now, the next Warlord is a little bit interesting. It's Crocodile, and he's the only Warlord we actually see clash with Mihawk. Of course, people mentioned Jinbe, but that was filler. In the manga, it's only Crocodile, and is now working with the former Marine Hunter, who actually made a personal call to Mihawk for him to join the Cross Guild, led by the 3 billion berry man, Buggy. Of course, we all know Buggy has 3 billion, but his, of course, crew member Mihawk is 3.5 billion berries, just showing how crazy that whole concept of Cross Guild is. is. Now, speaking back on Logia Crocodile, he could actually cause some problems for Mihawk. Actually believing he's awakened for 4 things in the manga. First being his defeat at the end of Alabasta, causing rain. I personally have always think that Logia Delphi Awakenings has to do with the environment. Just look at Punk Hazard with Akainu versus Aokiji, though this is just speculation and not confirmed. The second thing I want to talk about is the fact that he's the first character to ever mention awakening and Impel Down when it comes to the jailed beast. Of course, they're not fully awakened, but still, he's the first character to mention it. And Oda must have done this purposely. And we just recently saw Rob Lucci, a really legit opponent for Luffy pre-time skip, pull out awakening, and he's gone stronger since the time skip. So it only makes sense for Crocodile to get stronger. So if he didn't have awakening pre-time skip, like I think post time skip he might have it. And the fourth reason is his speech to Luffy in their first fight when he talks about the mastery of the Delphi Rune, pretty much calling Luffy a novice in his power. So there's always that speculation there, but taking away speculation, Mihawk's attack power would severely overpower him, given Luffy, who's pretty much around the same level as he was in the East Blue, in Alabasta, defeated him. Granted, it took 3 times. And of course, there's also the fact that Diamond Jozu made him bleed during Marine 4 War arc. And I truly believe that, yes, Jozu with the speed and power and Luffy with the potential and how he became a Yonko, it's not bad names to take damage from and lose them to even. But let's be honest here, Mihawk is definitely... Luffy was incredibly stronger at Marineford, and he was still scared and dodging his hands, not trying to get cut off by Mihawk. So I truly believe Mihawk would, just like Moria and Kuma, have a good chance of one-shotting. Now, the fourth warlord I want to talk about, it gets a little bit interesting. Because the first 3, I think Mihawk has a good chance of one-shotting these guys, even in a team battle. But this character right here, Doflamingo, changes the game when it comes to a team-up battle. He has the birdcage, which, let's be honest here, we saw an Admiral in Fujitora, and of course a post-time skip Zoro. Of course, yes, it's pre-Enma, but still Zoro is incredibly powerful, not be able to cut his strings. These are 2 very impressive swordsmen. Of course, Doflamingo would actually have some hope here, though, just like Crocodile, but his haki wouldn't be close to Mihawk. Mihawk went toe-to-toe with Shanks, the Haki King. And Cracker was confirmed to have stronger arm and haki than Doflamingo. That's the whole reason why Big Mom sent him out versus Luffy. Now, I do want to say this. Of course, his awakening would cause problems, especially in a team battle. And the possibility of him gaining advanced Conqueror's Haki, as he being the only 2 Conqueror's Haki users on the Warlord side, that possibility, just like Luffy and Zoro did on the rooftop, and really discussing how Haki blooms in battle. If this battle goes for a very long time, Doflamingo could be one of the greatest threats in the battle. And I think he has one of the highest potentials in this battle and really starts to make the battle interesting. Now, yes, Doflamingo does make the battle interesting, but honestly, I think Mihawk versus those 4, if it was a 1v4, Mihawk would win because his outright power and ability is so insanely high. The problem arises when we showcase the next 2 characters who easily have better feats than the characters I mentioned before when going against top tier. The first one is Jinbe. He's the only non-Delphi user on the Warlord side and was able to fight Portuguese DA's a Logia for 5 days, just showing you how powerful Jinbe is, and clashed with Akainu, another Logia in Marineford. Like, let's be honest here, Oda has said that Akainu has the highest attack power when it comes to Delphi abilities. And then, of course, there's Big Mom, who's advanced Conqueror's Haki and an insanely hacked Delphi ability, and he was able to also clash with her in Whole Cake Island. 2 characters I have easily on the same level as Mihawk, though it's not confirmed. And that's why I believe Jinbe is the first character, like, not the first character. I do think Doflamingo wouldn't get one shot, but Jinbe is the first 100% character that wouldn't get one shot. Like Doflamingo, there's a chance. Jinbe is the first character where I truly believe he wouldn't get one shot by Mihawk. We've seen it in his fight versus Who's Who. He mid-diffed a character, and I believe Who's Who, a former Cyberpol agent, compared to Rob Lucci back in the days with an ancient Zoan Sabretooth, I believe Who's Who is actually top Yonko Commander level. He was more impressive to me than actually Jack, and was showcasing some cool stuff. But of course, Jinbe with his amazing arm and haki and Fishman Karate got him a bounty over 1 billion berries, and a group fight would do personally extremely good to me, like watching Jinbe in a group battle, if this turning into a 1v5, Jinbe turns the tides literally and figuratively. And the second character I want to talk about, it makes sense for her to be the last character I talk about when the Warlord side, is Boa Hancock, who just recently destroyed everyone on Amazon Lily with her OP Dofu power, except Blackbeard, who, let's be honest, Blackbeard's top 5 in the story when it comes to power, and Kobe, who's going to be top 10 in the end of the story at least when it comes to him being a strong Marine. And honestly, when it comes to her one-shotting Blackbeard's top young commanders and level 6 prisoners in Katarina Devon, who has a mythical Zoan and Vasco shot, is no small feat. And I will say this, if he let her go, Blackbeard did say that she would kill him and Kobe too. And the fact remains, she's from the island of Haki and has Conqueror's Haki. She could definitely possess advanced Conqueror's Haki before or even during the fight, like same way I mentioned for Doflamingo and how he could get advanced Conqueror's Haki during the fight. So Boa Hancock becomes a threat, especially with her OP Dofu ability. Now I do believe Mihawk could evade it, but how long could he evade it when it's not just a 1v1, when it's actually a multi-fight? Now back to Mihawk. The biggest thing going for Mihawk is Zoro on the rooftop. Zoro blocking an attack from Big Mom and Kaido, and named attack at that. And then of course Zoro shortly after scarring Kaido. All this makes me think him still not being above Mihawk makes me think that Mihawk's durability and attack power is incredible. And honestly, I think that could really make a difference in this battle when it comes to Mihawk standing a chance and tanking all these attacks and taking out some warlords, so it gets easier when it comes to them combining their attacks. Because the problem comes when they're consecutively combining their attacks and working together. And that's why, to answer the question, could Mihawk defeat the 7 warlords? Dealing with all them together, the 6 warlords, honestly, I think that he would get overwhelmed because they only have one link in Moria, who still has a hack stealth ability. Then we have an awakened Dofu user in Doflamingo, possibly 2 if I talked about how Crocodile had speculated that he could have added. Then there's of course 2 Conqueror's Haki users in Boa Hancock and Doflamingo, and how they could of course have the potential to get advanced Conqueror's Haki. Then of course there's the Armin Haki feats of Jinbe and the top tiers he has gone against, while the sheer Dofu brokenness in Kuma still lies there when him being a top revolutionary and Dragon's right hand man. You think about it, it would be insane for Mihawk to handle all that by himself. When of course Mihawk finally fights seriously and develops durable feats and a crazy attack feats in the manga, honestly just showcasing his haki, as he does not have a Dofu ability. These could change and force me to revisit this video in the future, but for now this fight is a win for the original warlords, and that's just my thoughts. But if you guys disagree, put it in the comment section. If you guys want to have other video ideas, of course drop down in the comment section. But I had a really fun time discussing this because it's a really cool battle royale.